And we are live. We want the gold, sucker. We want the gold, sucker.
It's your boy, Sage the Mock, coming to you live. Still haven't figured out her name for this room, but that's what it is. What happened this week? So much change this week happened this week. It's insane. The Wednesday Night Wars are here, ladies and gentlemen. And what an experience. What an experience. But before we get into that into a little bit more details, don't forget, hit your boys up on Twitter at Real WrestleCast. If you are on Instagram, all spelled out. It's Real Wrestling Podcast, all spelled out there. You can help support your boys at patreon.com/IRWP. I think that's all the stuff I had to plug for the day. Yeah, that's it. Man, so it's wrestling. This is the first entire week where we had Raw, we had Wednesdays, we had SmackDown, or not SmackDown, AEW and NXT going head to head in the same hour, and then Friday we had SmackDown Live, and I will say, without getting into any details about each of the shows, man, that's a lot of wrestling. That is a lot of wrestling. Mondays wasn't too bad, but come Tuesday, it was difficult for your boy. Like it was, because obviously I was gonna watch both, but I didn't know in which order I wanted to watch it. And I was seeing some people online and see how they were doing it. A lot of them had a laptop here, while the TV here, or the computer here, and a tablet here. Watching them all at the same time. And I felt to me that I wouldn't be able to give it justice if I were to just have them split watching like that. So I ended up DVRing. I DVR'd both of them, so that way I can go back and watch them and see if it was just nostalgia or if I was just like legitimate excited about it. And I think on Wednesday I ended up going to bed like at 1 o'clock in the evening, or 1 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, I don't know if I could do that like constantly. Thursday rolls around and I'm thinking to myself, like, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna podcast and just be like not have SmackDown, or am I gonna move it to Friday and podcast right after Friday? So then there was that dilemma, and I didn't know what I was gonna do. So I mean, obviously, I had to wait till Friday to see how I felt. Friday comes around, I see SmackDown, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm gonna do this podcast. I'm gonna do this podcast on Friday nights, and yeah, I don't know if I can do it on Friday either. So it's a little difficult. So I'm struggling between Friday right after SmackDown and Saturday. Try to do it Saturday morning, so that way I have the rest of the day to do everything else that I need to do. But it was just interesting. Like I just found it interesting. I figure a couple weeks of this, I'll figure out a groove in terms of watching wrestling. But I want to know, like from you guys, what do you feel like? How did you interpret this week in wrestling? Just not on the basis of which one was better, just how you ultimately felt about watching all of them within the week. Do you feel like it's just too much wrestling? It's not enough? Do you feel like you can manage it? Like, I definitely want to hear from you guys on that. But yeah, I mean that was pretty interesting. Before we get into wrestling, I just gotta. You guys know your boy. A couple weeks ago, I told you I switched to YouTube TV. Got rid of Hulu, and got rid of Sling. And 2 weeks in, and I'm still feeling pretty good about YouTube TV. And I do like the fact that it does include the YouTube originals. As you know, last year I was a big fan of Cobra Kai, and this week I finally was able to start watching or binge watching season 2 of Cobra Kai. And I gotta say, I absolutely loved the entire season. Speaking of nostalgia, the soundtrack for season 2 was just completely amazing. You really felt for Johnny the entire second season. I just loved the way that they wrote both Johnny and Daniel's characters. Just grounded. I love that the ability to ground it into reality on how things just kind of stay with you from high school, and they just kind of dictate uh, where you go in life and how you succeed and stuff. And John Kreese, man, that dude is like insane, insane. So I loved it, man. I thought it was really really good. I definitely enjoyed it. I thought that I thought season 2 was amazing. Though I'm gonna be frank with you guys. I didn't see the ending, and I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys, but I didn't see the ending go the way that I thought it was gonna go. Like I didn't. It wasn't until that very last minute where you'll think of the motto, and you're like, no, 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 and then it hits you just like that. And man, kudos to everyone that's involved. I cannot wait until season 3 comes out. It's going to be even more insane. Uh, just y'all go if you haven't, this I'm gonna plug YouTube TV or YouTube Originals, YouTube Red or whatever, but they got free trials. Y'all go check out a free trial. I don't got no codes to give you guys because we ain't sponsored by them or anything like that. But it's definitely, if you were a '80s kid or you grew up with the Karate Kid, or even if you didn't grow up with Karate Kid, like if you want to kind of, you know, it's a good show. Y'all go check it out. Give your boys give that support to Cobra Kai. Hit that hashtag on Twitter, Cobra Kai, and say that Sage the Mark from It's Real Wrestling Podcast sent you guys. So in any event, let's get into it. I know you guys ain't here to hear me ramble about Cobra Kai and stuff, so let's get into it. Monday, Raw comes out, and immediately the first thing that you see, the vignette comes. They have a new vignette that goes into the start of the show. The thin now and forever, that whole thing had changed. And I liked at the end, at the very last frame of the end, it actually showed the Fiend, and then it moved into the actual show, which I thought was pretty amazing. The set was kind of interesting. It was toned down a lot. It looks like they all come out from like a right entrance and it's a very low, like, squared entrance. It looks kind of like a ramp, like a skateboard ramp with just LEDs everywhere, and a little square for the gorilla position, and people to come out from the gorilla position. And I thought it was interesting. I thought that it was unique, and interesting. It was kind of toned down. It really reminded me of the old school Raw, like back in the 19 or the mid 90s, where you were coming out just from a curtain, onto the main stage and down the ramp. Like, that's kind of the feel and the tone that they had from that. So I thought that was pretty interesting that they go that way. Raw definitely felt like it wasn't the primary show, and I hate to say that, but it didn't feel like it was the primary show. And I, not knowing what happened or what was going on in the rest of the week, I was just thinking to myself, like, man, like, they really took a gamble on their flagship show, and I hope that they know exactly what it is that they're doing. They had new commentary coming out. We have Big Joseph. We have Mr. Rhea Ripley on there, and Jerry the King Lawler. So I thought that was pretty interesting. The commentary, actually, I thought the commentary was really well. I felt like they gelled well together. I definitely like Mr. Rhea Ripley doing his subtle jabs at the King, with some of his terminologies, specifically LARPing. And for those who are too young or maybe even too old to know what LARPing is, it's live action role playing, which was kind of a play on Jerry the King Lawler, him not really being a king but playing a king, and I thought that that was pretty interesting. I felt that that might have legitimately went over the king's head when he had said that, so I thought that that was pretty subtle and pretty interesting that he actually did that. So, um, I think the beginning of the show came out and they had it might not have been the beginning of the show. Just one thing that I really remember from Raw was that they had the Miz come out doing his show. He had Hulk Hogan and he had Ric Flair come out, and Ric Flair, him and Hogan were like Ric Flair was jabbing at the mouth at Hogan, and it felt to me like it was a work shoot at best. It felt like a shoot, but maybe a work shoot at best. But he was like saying, like, I'm not taking a back seat to you anymore. You may be the greatest entertainer, but I'm the better wrestler. And like he felt like I thought he was gonna like fall off or something. Like I thought he was gonna like have a heart attack or something because he was like truly into it. I was like, yo, Rick, like you spitting truth, man. But yo, dude, and Hogan was just like, I think he looked like he was taken back a bit about his promo. I don't think that that's the way the promo was originally supposed to go. So like kudos to Rick from just like taking it, out of left field and going with it. But I legitimately thought that those two were gonna like get down. And then I came back to earth. I'm like, nah, man, both these guys can't take a bump anymore. So they gotta stop that craziness, stop that nonsense. Um, but yeah, I mean that ended up happening. We ended up finding out that long story short, it was meant to be I don't know, like uh, a promo for the next Saudi Arabia show that's coming out October 31st. Which your boy's not gonna watch it, so I'm not gonna get into too much details about it. All I will say is I just find it interesting that each one of these Saudi Arabia shows are kind of ripping off a major pay per view. We had one that was like the Royal Rumble. I think we actually had two Royal Rumble types, and now this one looks like to be like a Survivor Series kind of type a match as well. So not too big of a fan of that. Uh, I don't know. All I want to know is like when we gonna get an Evolution number two. We had one. Number one was amazing. When we gonna have number two? Doesn't look like we're gonna get it, but and it doesn't even look like we're gonna get another Mae Young Classic. I think we were actually due one this year. So I don't know. The ladies have been getting stiffed lately. Like I'm just now thinking that in my head. They're getting a little stiffed lately. So what's up with that? And where's Jay? Where are the Usos? The Usos have been like gone for 5 weeks. Like, come on, they gotta be out the doghouse by now. Unless they really are getting their release and going to AEW. I don't know. That might happen. We'll end up having to find out. So, um, it, not much else was going on here. We had King Corbin and Rusev came out to save Seth Rollins from a beating. Um, and then that ended up tying up into a main event with Rusev and Seth Rollins, uh, and Bobby Lashley coming out. And apparently, I don't watch any Total Divas, and I try to stay away from the dirt sheets. But apparently, Rusev and Lana have been having some issues. I don't know if that's a work or not, but Bobby Lashley comes out. He calls out Lana from the back, and they having like a makeout session. Like this is back in the puppies era. Like not John, but Jerry the King Lawler getting all excited and everything like that. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. Like they were like making out like hardcore, and I'm like, yo, this dude's wife. Like I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could watch that. I don't know. I don't even know if I could even be in that situation. I'd be like, yo, y'all's got to go. Get that boot. You guys to go. So yeah, but that ended up happening. So apparently that's going to be a storyline in itself. A little worried about Rusev losing all that weight though. I'm hoping that everything is all right. He hasn't been gone that long to lose that much weight. So I always worry when superstars or even people just in general when they lose a lot of weight in a short amount of time. I have always worried. I think that there was a I want to say the last person that lost a lot of weight in a short amount of time. I want to say it was Dana Brooke, and you know she looks fantastic, and she looks fantastic before, and she looks fantastic after. But I worry. I just always worry. I just want to make sure that everything's okay. I don't know if you know depression comes in or something worse, but just always want to make sure that they're healthy. Um, so that was Monday, guys. The one thing that really stood out to me on Monday's show is that they really didn't do a lot of promoting for Hell in a Cell. So outside of like Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks and the Fiend, for at least from the Raw's perspective, that's all I know who's at Hell in a Cell. Like there hasn't been any build up for this pay per view at all. It doesn't even feel like it's going to be a pay per view. But we'll see if SmackDown gives us any more information. Um, Going into AEW, Wednesday rolls around. I'm totally excited all day. I am like prepped and ready to go. AEW's here. NXT gets their full 2 hour show. Like we are legitimately ready to go. So Wednesday night rolls around. Uh, I watched it from start to finish. My very first thoughts of the opening is, man, like this feels like WCW, and I am excited. Your boy know you guys know your boy is a big WCW fan, man. I felt like the WCW was always the better wrestling promotion pre 2000. I did like the wrestling was better, the characters were better, uh, the set was better, the storylines were better. Like everything about it was amazing. I always felt like WWE just they were just able to ride the wave and let WCW implode. And if they had made better decisions, I still feel like WCW would be here today. Um, but that was then. This is now. Right off the bat, we get a great promo package. We get fireworks, coming out. The commentary is announced, and oh my god, I didn't know who was going to be on commentary. Like I knew who was hired in the company, but I didn't know what their role was actually going to be. I thought that a lot of the legends were just going to be backstage, kind of either in gorilla position or mentoring the talent and stuff like that. But no, these boys just went straight for the gut. They went straight for the gut. That's what I'm talking about. They had Tony Schiavone on the commentary table, and your boy was excited. Back where he belongs. He is Mr. WCW, and I absolutely loved it. His commentary, and I'm marking out right now. I'm sorry I don't got the button, and that's okay. But your boy was marking out every single time Tony Schiavone would announce or enunciate a syllable, because it was just amazing, man. This is the commentary that you know what? And kudos to AEW. I feel like I've been worked on the commentary table, because I said it from the very beginning, from the very first pay-per-view that they had, that the commentary, they gotta fix the commentary. They gotta fix it. Like, they cannot go live with this commentary team, because it's the enthusiasm and the level is just not there. I love JR. I love his play-by-play. It's still one of the best play-by-plays there. Play-by-plays there. But his enthusiasm level is not there. The other gentleman that's on the commentary table, Colosso, or I don't remember his name. I'll end up remembering it going forward. But like, I felt like he's struggling to find his ins and outs on the mic. Like, he's not really confident to kind of interject where he needs to, despite people talking to him in his ear. Like, I just feel like he's not there yet. Tony Schiavone just commands that attention. Like, it just reminds me of how paranoid Mike Tenay was, with Tony Schiavone there. And I Love it. So keep up the good work, man. Yo, Tony Schiavone for life, man. Um, I like one of the other things that I liked uh, in AEW was the interaction with the camera. The camera was like not a like most of the time the camera work is kind of like a omnipresent kind of thing where it just you don't know it's there. It's its own. It's just observing everywhere. No one knows that there was a camera there, kind of thing. But the cameraman was kind of like part of the show itself, and I loved it. It bring to light the drama and like you felt like you were actually there at the event, and I loved it. Like I thought that that was amazing. I haven't seen camera work like that in a while, and I thought that it was just I thought it was just brilliant, brilliant. First match of the night came out was what was his name? Cody versus Sammy Guevara, and one of the good themes that I liked about this show was that the newer talent that people didn't know of, they had some type of video package like ready to go to kind of introduce them, and they did a great job with Sammy Guevara talking about his background, his motivations, and I liked it. Like I thought that was a good job. That's how you have to do it. Like you're going into a big network with an audience that doesn't really know who these people are. Like you have to do a good job about bringing them aboard because you got the marks, right? The marks are going to tune in every week. It's not the marks you got to impress. It's the casual fans that don't know about your product. And they knew of that weakness going into the show. And I thought that I felt like they exploited it the best that they could. And kudos. That match was pretty amazing. I think it went on a little bit longer than I would have anticipated. I think that should have been cut maybe 3 minutes short. There's just a lot of sluggish spots that I felt, that's just minor. I think a lot of it was more pacing than anything else, and they will get they'll get their wings. I promise they will get their wings. That was actually pretty much a common theme amongst most of the matches is just finding the right time, or filling in the right time for each segment. So. The winner of this match was actually going to be fighting Chris Jericho for the world title. Not really a shocker that Cody ended up winning this one here, but there were definitely some close spots that you thought Sammy Guevara was going to actually pull off the victory, which I thought would have been bold if they would have went that way itself. But it is what it is. We get those two. I believe during that match, Chris Jericho came down the ring and just basically attacked or not attacked Cody Rhodes. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like we got to see Chris Jericho at the very first match of the night in some capacity, which is great because he's like original WCW as well. And we got to remember he started his career in WCW on TNT. That nostalgia for me was just like real. I'm like, yes, 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 yes. You're checking off all the boxes that I needed. You're checking it off. So, but yeah, I thought that was a pretty good match. The next match of the night, I believe, and I might be off on this one here, but I believe it was for the women's championship. Riho versus oh my god, I forgot her name. I will get it in a bit. But that match was actually amazing. I think that was probably the match of the night. And it was for the women's championship. I was telling a friend, a couple of weeks ago that the one thing that kind of worried me was that like Britt Baker, I know she had a concussion a few weeks ago, and I know sometimes concussions take some time to get through. I was a little worried about her, and I hope everything, like I legitimately hope everything is okay, because like, how do you not have Britt Baker on, in some capacity? Like she's one of the founding members of the show. So I would anticipate that she, um, I don't know. I anticipate that she would actually be a part of it. She was on the commentary. Definitely hope that she gets her bearings and is ready to go by maybe the next pay per view. But anyways, back into the match. It was a really good match. The storytelling was basically David and Goliath. You know, Riho was the smaller of the two opponents, and I thought that the um, uh, what was it? I thought the pacing of the match was really, really well. Nyla Rose was her name. Um, and I thought Nyla did a great job of just being vicious and just imposing her will. I love the spot where Nyla does, or not Nyla, but Riho goes on the top ropes and she kind of dives outside the ropes, and Nyla just catches her dead in the air and just like slams her. Like I love that, man, that physicality and that like most of the time when you're in that type of spot, it's a splash and everyone goes falling down. In this case, she actually caught her and took her out. So kudos. Nyla's going to be a great champion sooner than later for sure. I don't think Riho's going to carry the title for very long, but needless to say, it was really good to see a fresh face, actually start off their run with the championship. So. But yeah, that was good. Definitely enjoy it. I love women's wrestling. It's one of my favorites. Um, Next match that I can just recall right off the top of my head was the uh, we saw what was his name, MJF versus Brian. It's not Cage. Uh, oh my goodness, I forgot his name. Um, anyways, like I said, Brandon Cutler was his name. Like I said, the one thing that I liked about this is that they took the time to introduce both Brian Cage. I think he actually had a package, and MJF actually coming out and just cutting the mic off and just like down talking the crowd. I loved it. I mean, I, we've said it from the very beginning before AEW started. The MJF is definitely the star of the show. He is the Ric Flair of AEW, and he's going to be something special for this. Like he oozes machismo and oozes like that he is the future of this company, and I believe it. I think that he's going to eventually get his title reign from Cody. Um, and when that happens, like it's going to be amazing. Like it that I can't wait. That's almost the equivalent of no, that is the equivalent of a Sasha Bailey, turn. Um, yeah, so I can't wait. The match was pretty good. Definitely enjoyed it. I liked that MJF just kind of imposed his will at the end. Just kind of put it out there that that he's number one. So, I like that. And the last thing is definitely the main event. I had some concerns about the main event, six man tag match, and the thing that I was worried about was just basically the timing of everything. Um, I think that if I could recall correctly, I think the six man tag started at I want to say 8:20. Yeah, I think it started like basically 40 minutes before the end of the show. And I felt like that might be way, 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 way too soon for it. So either the match ends early and something happens, or or I don't know. It felt weird because it was a 20-minute time limit, but started 40 minutes before the end of the show, and so something just felt kind of off on that. But anyways, getting into the match, it was a really good match. Again, it was the Elite, which was the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, versus Chris Jericho and LAX. I can't remember what their names are right off the top of my head. But yeah, that was a six-man tag. And one other thing that I thought was weird before I even get to this match here, the one thing that I thought was weird is during the Rio the Rio and Nyla Rose match is that after Rio won, Nyla attacked Rio and then attacked Sonny. Forgot what his name was. Attacked him. Kenny Omega comes out like out of nowhere and just like pushes Nyla and says, "Hey, what are you doing?" So I got to thinking, and I might be like going to, I might be overanalyzing this to be honest with you, but I feel like by Kenny putting his hands on Nyla like that, I'm feeling like they're giving us the signal that there will be intergender matches on TNT, on AEW. And if that's indeed the case, like I'm all for that. I am all for that. I love intergender matches. Like I think they're awesome when they're done well or done right. It looks really really well. Everyone looks strong. Um, and I know that there's going to be controversy about women and men wrestling, but it's wrestling, guys. It's wrestling. It shouldn't matter. And this group of people and this is what I like. You know, this group of people don't care if a woman pins a man, and vice versa. Um, it's just it's all in the sport and the art, and I respect that. And if any, any promotion could do it, I feel like AEW is going to be able to hit this one like literally right out of the park. Um, so yeah, just thought that was interesting. I felt like that was going to set up for it. But anyways, going into the 6-man tag, it was a really good match. I think 10 minutes in, they were doing the whole everyone's on the outside of the ring, and Kenny Omega was going to do his running start like Naruto style kind of thing, where he was going to do a suicide dive outside the top ropes. But before he even got the chance, the crowd was just going crazy, and I'm thinking to myself like, yo, what's going on? Like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, you see John Moxley right behind him. And I'm thinking to myself, I thought John Moxley was going to be out for like till December. Because they said that he had like an elbow injury or something like that. Some type of tendonitis that he had to get surgery on or something like that. Well, we know that was a work. And great job for them doing that. That really took things into perspective. But those two ended up fighting. It ended up going all the way to the back, which I liked. One of the things that I thought was pretty cool was Kenny Omega found a bucket, and he was whacking Moxley with a bucket. And then when he had the mop by itself, I was thinking, man, he looked like the cleaner. And he did his cleaner thing. I was like, yes, that's my man. Yo, Kenny O, baby. Kenny O all day. So that ends up going on. The thing is, the ref didn't call for the bell. Like, there was, like, clearly people interfering in matches or interfering in this match. And the ref didn't call it. And I'm like, yo, like, where they getting this ref from, man? Let's get back Mrs. Hardy or Mrs. Mrs. Earl Hebner. Like, get her back. Because like this dude don't know what he's doing, man. It's just like a call for the bell or something. So things are coming out or people are coming out. This match is like breaking down like completely. We get Death Valley Driver out there in the Concord. Kenny Omega's out, and I thought that they were gonna fade to black on that when they did that, but we still had like 8 minutes to go when he delivered that, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? We ended up moving from the Concord out to the ring, and out of nowhere, like Sammy Guevara comes down the ring, and he's fighting the Elite. And Matt Jackson is going wild with all of his flips, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then out of nowhere, Jack Swagger comes out, and Jack Hager, I think that's what he's called now. Jack Hager comes out, and he just like flattens everyone. Now they didn't say Jack Hager, sorry, was all Elite. So I think that what they're doing is that they are, because he's I think he's like with Pride or with maybe one championship wrestling or one championship. He's with one of those promotions, Bellator. I think he's in Bellator. So I just I don't know. Like, what are they doing? Like, are they? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What do I think they're doing a lot of cross promotion. I think that this is what it was, just cross promotion. We had Jalen Silent Bob out in the crowd too. And then we had some other celebrities too. So I think that and shout out to Private Party. I saw y'all with the Mary Jane before the cameraman just cut to the. I saw that, man. Y'all are crazy for that. I'll tell you that, man. Y'all are crazy for that. But yeah, man, it kind of broke down, and it felt like we got NWO at the end of AEW, which I'm all for. Like, I love factions. If I just I just don't be like where we have the BWO and the LWO and the Horsemen. Like, we don't need 50 factions. Like, if you're gonna have one faction around Chris Jericho, yo, I'm all for that. But just make it simple. That's how you make it impactful. So overall, I thought AEW did a great job for their debut episode. Still, keep up the good work, guys. I cannot wait. Like, I am so psyched and excited for next week to see how you guys do. As I said at the top of the show, I did watch NXT as well, and you could tell NXT was they tried to make this a big deal as well. The very first match that came out was the champ Adam Cole, baby, and the King of Bros. And man, I don't know what's going on with me today. I'm not good with the names today. That's unusual. Um, but yeah, those two they put on a clean. They put on a clinger. Like, they did their thing. I thought that was a pretty good match. Um, at the end of the match, we had Finn Balor come out, so kind of solidifying that, hey, he's now with NXT, which I think that's the right move, to be honest with you. It's not that he didn't belong on Raw or SmackDown. I still feel like he's a player, like he is. He can be there, but I just feel like the main roster just wasn't treating him with the respect that he deserved. And that's unfortunate. And he will get it in NXT with no doubt. Now that they have a mid card championship as well as a heavyweight championship, I think he'll just be fine. And I don't think that he'll be the last one to make the switch back to NXT on Wednesday nights. But I do think that that was a pretty good move. So kudos to them for doing that. I was hoping that maybe we get Kevin Owens down there too, but that might be like way overload kind of thing. So I do like the look and the feel of NXT. I like the whole darkening of the background for them. I feel like that works because you don't need to see the crowd size for NXT necessarily, but you can feel the crowd's energy week to week. I do feel like they need to get out of Full Sail, but I think that they do benefit from being in a smaller crowd versus touring. I think that if they toured, it'd be a little bit more difficult for them from a show's perspective. So, um, still keep giving away those free Full Sail seats. Your money's going to be coming with the advertisers, and that's okay. Um, but yeah, I mean, I thought this overall the show was really well done. At the end of the show, I'm not gonna do a full recap on it. Sorry, guys, but at the end of the show, the most notable thing is that Ciampa came back, and that's good. He's putting him right back in the picture for the title. I will say that I like both the AEW and NXT formula where they're not utilizing all of their talents from week to week. That we are getting a rotation between talents. I think that that's the smart thing to do. You keep fresh legs in every week. You have one or two storylines that are always going to be there from week to week, but then you have another one that's just kind of just a side story kind of thing. It keeps the crowd um, from being bored. Um, and I know that kind of sounds harsh, but I mean that is what that it is what it is. I mean that's the way it is. So um, yeah, so there's that. The other thing that um, I really do think that I am going to likely watch watch that on Thursdays going forward. I just think that it's just going to be easier overall. To be honest with you, um, I'm not. Just, I feel bad because I like NXT, um, but I'm just. I am legitimately excited for AEW, and I think that that's kind of the overwhelming um, consensus. I think that um, a lot of people were like that, and I don't know. Maybe this is just the honeymoon phase. We'll see how it does next week, but I believe that the even the viewership was like 1.4 million for AEW this week, and like a little under 800 for 800,000 um, for NXT. So we'll see how that goes. Going into SmackDown, you can tell like the atmosphere on SmackDown just felt like this was the A show going forward. It felt and looked like a WrestleMania show. And I don't know if this format, the way that everything looked and the fireworks, I don't know if we're going to get this from week to week or we're just going to get it from the premiere and maybe at pay-per-views and things like that. But I will say that it definitely felt like this was the A show for WWE. So it's good to see that they're getting love, and I guess it makes sense. You know, you get more viewership on basic TV than you would on cable TV, because more people have basic TV. But there's a lot of us that cut the cord too. So I mean, there is that. Um, yeah. So that was the one thing we got familiar faces on commentary minus Renee Young, which I still feel like that's a detriment. I love Renee Young. I like I just like her commentary. I and the one thing that I hate about this new thing on SmackDown is that Renee Young has like a show right after SmackDown, but I didn't even remember to even go to look for it, to be honest with you. I couldn't tell you if it was after Fox or after SmackDown on Fox or if it's something that you had to tune into the network. I don't even recall, and I could be wrong, I might have skipped it, but I don't even recall them promoting it during the show at all. Which, like, if you can't find it, like, if you're not getting it promoted, you can't find it, then no one's going to really tune in. WWE does a pretty good job of like doing push notifications for the app, and I don't even remember getting a push notification for that. So I hope this isn't a sign of things to come. To be honest with you, I feel like she is way too talented to be wasted away. And who knows? We might King's his commentary on Raw might be temporary, and Renee might fill it in later on. We don't know, but that's just one thing that I really noticed that I picked up on. I felt that this was a lot of one-upmanship on the show as well. Um, AEW had the stars in the crowd, or has some stars in the crowd. WWE had like 5 stars in the crowd, and I'm like, what is going on? The fireworks and the fireworks that were coming out on AEW, WWE just goes like overboard with like Star Spangled Banner kind of thing, 4th of July type of fireworks going on. I'm like, okay, all right, I see y'all, and you know what? And in retrospect, this is probably a benefit for WWE as well, right? It's a benefit for them to be able to go last in the week of wrestling, because they are able to take the best of what happened during the week and make it better on SmackDown. So even though they say they ain't going head to head, I wouldn't be surprised on seeing more of this one-upsmanship going into Friday. So we got we got a Fiend sighting. We got the Firefly Funhouse. I think it was Seth Rollins just came down the ring, and as soon as he hit the ring, Firefly Funhouse came out, previewing Hell in a Cell. Rest in peace, Rambling Rabbit. His second time he got killed by Mercy, and I love the Fiend, and I love Bray Wyatt, and I think that they've been doing a pretty good job at protecting both characters, Bray Wyatt and the Fiend. I did see don't worry, I did see that video on Twitter about it was basically Bray Wyatt, Funhouse Bray Wyatt, doing a new segment to kind of promote Hell in a Cell. And I loved the way that Bray stayed in character the entire time. I thought that that was pretty cool, and I think that one of those camera people or news people were like legitimately kind of freaked out by him, which I thought was pretty cool. So I like that. I told you guys before that sociopathic character, and Bray being able to tap into that. I think it does wonders for the show. I think that that's definitely just a good thing. I knew that Fiend was going to come out in some capacity. They took the liberty of putting Hogan and Flair out into the crowd during this um, during Seth Rollins' match with who was it that he was fighting? Shinsuke Nakamura. And I know I'm jumped around a little bit there, but I thought that that was I was hoping, I was praying, and I know y'all are gonna hate me for it, but I don't care. I don't care. Um, but I thought that the Fiend was gonna get Hogan. I was gonna be happy if he got him. Like that would have probably made my day if Hogan succumbed to the Fiend. Think that that would have been a fitting end for his character. But I digress. Bye. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Um, yeah, so he ends up coming out and attacks Seth Rollins, and that kind of I think what if I recall correctly, because it was really really dark. As soon as the Fiend's music hits, Seth booked it to the top of the stage. And I think that he thought he was going to be in the ring. Shinsuke was looking around trying to find out what the hell was going on, and then the Fiend pops up behind Seth Rollins and takes him down, which I thought was pretty cool. Now, one thing that I noticed up until this match is that um, there was a lot, and I mean like a lot of audio editing in this live show. The holy shit chants that were going on, and the um, maybe this is stupid chants or something like that, they were getting beeped out. You can tell that they went from full audio with the crowd to just mic audio for the people, or for the commentary team. Um, and it got to the point where it was very very distracting. I thought that for me it was very very distracting for them to do that. So I'm hoping and I'm praying that they don't do that as much. I don't think that it's that cumbersome for them just to let it go on TV. Um, you don't hear the NBA doing that kind of stuff or NFL doing that kind of stuff. WWE needs to cut that out. That's just too much. If Tony Schiavone can say prick on TV, then they can let those holy shit chants go. So um, that was that. And then the moment that we were all not waiting for, we get the main event. Kofi Kingston defending his championship against Brock Lesnar, and we all saw this going a mile away. Like we did. Like in fact, you know what? Let your boy get a little drink, because I'm about to go in on this one here. I'm about to go in. I'm going in. Look, Kofi has been a great champion. He's been arguably one of the best champions of all time, just from his reign perspective. He has fought in anyone and everyone they put up, and has had a compelling match. None of his matches were squash matches. They were all really, really good matches that he's had. I love the fact that he's just, from day one, he defends his title on Smackdown. He defends his title on Raw. He defends his title at pay-per-views, at live shows. Like, this dude is doing it all. And to have him go out the way that he went out, I just thought was like pure disrespectful. Like, pure disrespectful. Like, I get the reason why they did it. Like, I really do. Like, I understand. And we called this when they announced the Fox deal. After they announced the Fox deal and Kofi won the championship, we were all pretty, as a community, pretty under the consensus that he was going to lose his title to, we thought that it was going to be Randy Orton at on Fox on SmackDown until we got the rumblings that Brock Lesnar was likely to go there, because I believe Fox was like lobbying for him to go to SmackDown. So once we heard those rumblings, we were all under the consensus before they made the announcement that Kofi and Brock Lesnar were going to meet at on SmackDown, and that's where he was going to lose his title. And I should have known by on Raw when Brock Lesnar opened the show. He was actually the one who opened the show and just kind of decimated Rey Mysterio and his son. That something was going to happen. Like not Bray, but Rey Mysterio is just not going to let this go. Like he's not going to let this go. So the match, the rings, Kofi just does it like a leaping jump onto Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar basically in one motion puts the F5, 1, 2, 3 count. Probably one of the shortest reigns, one of the shortest matches a champion has lost his title. I think it may even be a tie between him and Daniel Bryan. And I just like that's not the statement that you make, man. Like it's not. And all for the pop of Shane Velasquez coming out and him and Brock. Like, to me, I'm thinking like you could have had Kofi go over and then Brock just like decimate Kofi Kingston, and then Cain Velasquez coming out. There's no reason Cain Velasquez should be even in the title picture. Like, at all. Like, he hasn't done anything, and there's no disrespect to Cain Velasquez, but he hasn't done anything in the WWE to even warrant a championship. The only thing that he has done is to defend his friend from getting the beat down that he didn't deserve. So to put the title on the line against him, I think is one thing. But you're going to literally hold this title again for ransom. You only defend it during pay-per-views. Like, no. Like, we didn't like it with the Universal title, and we were happy that it was away from the WWE title. But come on, man. Now the ultimate thing is going to happen. Kane's going to lose. The only person who's going to beat him is Roman Reigns. And then we're back to square one. And this is SmackDown. This is not what SmackDown is about. It's not about repetitiveness. It's about giving people opportunities and chances that don't normally get them. And yet we're going to go back to the same broke ass formula that nearly killed Raw a year and a half ago. Like, we got to stop. Like, we got to be better than this. We got to be better than this. And you know what? I'm not the only one. Like, I'm not the only one upset about Kofi losing the title. And it's not even about him losing the title. It's about the way that he lost the title. Like, this dude has been like the greatest. Like, this is what your champion is supposed to do. Like, between him and AJ, like, they both have killed it in terms of defending the title and putting on great matches. And you disrespect their legacy as champions by doing this crap. And it's not right. It's not right. It's not right. I'm gonna read some there's a chant, or not a chant, but there's a hashtag going on right now, guys. It's hashtag thank you, Kofi. I just want to read a couple of them, so that way you can kind of get the consensus of where everybody is. Both in the industry and outside the industry. So I'm going to start with Daniel Bryan, because this is one that really got me. So it says, hashtag thank you, Kofi, for giving me one of my favorite career moments. Sad to see his reign end the way that it did. I lost my first World Heavyweight Championship in 18 seconds and came away more determined and angry because of it. I'm sure Kofi will do the same. Respect always, but still mad you beat me. We got, let's see. We got Haunted Killer. The fact that this is how WWE decides to follow up AEW Stellar Premiere is a flippin' joke. Hashtag thank you, Kofi. He's gonna get a little love for that one here. We got live footage of everyone that's tweeting, thank you, Kofi. People smashing TVs and laptops. I don't give a damn what anybody says. To me, this man is the best champion of the year. Hashtag thank you, Kofi by Cliffy D. Man, you deserve so much better than that, and we all know it. Hashtag thank you, Kofi. Thank you, Kofi. 2019 was made better because of you. At some point today, I'm going to rewatch Brian versus Kofi for Mania because, man, hashtag thank you, Kofi. Like, I'm not the only one. I'm not. Like his reign was legitimate, man, and I think it's just straight up garbage that he went out the way he did. But that's that. So with that being said, guys, let's get into the Hell in Cell card preview. I'm gonna say this about this preview. Goose and I were talking today, and he said it like I told myself this on Friday right after SmackDown, and he just said it to me this morning. Like, we don't even know who's fighting at Hell in a Cell, aside from Bray Wyatt and Seth, and Sasha and Charlotte, and Daniel Bryan and Roman versus the Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. Like, that's the only ones that I know that have been announced. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking like at Wikipedia, and I'm even looking at WWE's like actual main like page. And the only other one that's on here that's not that wasn't like formally listed is Charlotte Flair and Bayley. Like, what kind of a go home show is this? Like, we were getting Hell in a Cell this Sunday with only 4 matches announced. Let that sink in. Let it sink in. Only 4 matches announced. We don't know who Shinsuke is going to fight, or even if he's going to fight. We don't know if AJ is going to fight. We don't know if there's no tag teams listed. Like, what in the world is going on? Like, I feel like this whole run for Hell in a Cell has just been a rush job. Like a straight up rush job. And it didn't even need to be. At all. I don't know. I can't. Charlotte Flair versus Bayley. My enthusiasm level for this match is probably going to be a 2 out of 5. The reason why I say that is Bayley's obviously going to lose this title. And I don't know why. Like, her storyline right now is just so freaking weird right now. I feel like she's in between turning heel, and I'm still enthusiastic and ready for that. But why Charlotte Flair? Why? I mean, they really don't have a storyline per se. And the fact that Bayley beat her last month at Clash of Champions, like, I thought that was done. They didn't even mention, in these 4 weeks or 3 weeks between pay-per-views, they didn't even mention that Bayley cheated. Think about it. They didn't even mention it. So why is Charlotte even getting an opportunity? Right? Like, I'd probably much rather see Bayley, and I thought that we were going to get this. I thought Bayley versus Carmella. But no, we don't even get that. Shout out to Marshmello for pinning Carmella for the 24/7 champion. You're the real MVP, even though you're not champ no more. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know where that goes. Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. This match, or between these 4, I've been invested in it since day one. I thought it was kind of hokey pokey at first, with Roman Reigns getting flattened, with the scaffolds and stuff. But this one's really turned around. I do think that the obvious thing that's going to happen is, I think Daniel Bryan's going to turn on Roman Reigns. He just emphasized liar so much this week on SmackDown that it just feels obvious that he's going to end up turning on Roman Reigns. And I don't even know, like, what the end game is to have a triple threat against Roman Reigns. Don't get me wrong. I love the position that Roman Reigns is in right now. I like the fact that he's away from the title and doing a storyline. It makes me more interested in his character overall. But honestly, like I I don't know. I don't know where Roman goes from this point on because he doesn't really unless and I just thought of this right now. Usos have been gone for a while. Maybe we get the bloodlines at Hell in a Cell. You know what? I'm calling it. I'm calling it. I'm calling that. I'm calling that. Well, yes, I'm calling it. The bloodlines are going to be there. We're going to get Roman Reigns and the Usos against Daniel Bryan, Eric Rowan, and Luke Harper between now and Survivor Series. Or sorry, between Hell in a Cell and Survivor Series. I think that that's what we're gonna go with that. You know what? I'm good with that. I'm down with that. I like that. Um, they kind of teased it a few months back, and if this is the way they're going, I absolutely love it. I just wish the Nia Jax was in that fold as well. And that would even be even better. And shout out to WWE. I think they did do, and I can't remember in which segment, but I do think that they also were teasing an intergender style of match. So if they do that, kudos to them for that. So then one of the co-main event is going to be Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks inside Hell in a Cell. This actually might start the show, to be honest with you. I think this is going to be the heater match. This card sucks. Like, I love these matches, but because these are the only matches that have been announced, this is a bad card. Bad card. Sasha's got to win. Sasha's got to win. She's got to win. I think the reason why this starts at first is I think that Bayley gets involved, and then I think that Becky's going to cost Bayley her championship, and get that to Charlotte. So then maybe we get a Charlotte versus Becky and a Sasha versus Bayley down the road. I think that that's probably what they're going to do. They're going to end up swapping titles, which I'm not too. Bailey and Sasha are going to be on SmackDown, most likely, and no, you know what? That might not even be right either. I don't even know what's going to happen on the draft next week, which again was one of the things that they didn't really tout this week. So I'm going to go with Sasha for the win on this one here, and yeah, I think that that's probably the most. I think that's what's going to end up happening. Then we got Seth Rollins versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt for the Universal Championship. This one's kind of tough, guys. I know a lot of us has been saying that it's too soon for The Fiend to get the belt. But I can't see him losing either. I think it would be whack if he lost the belt. So I'm kind of perplexed to see how this goes. You can't have a disqualification match because it is literally Hell in the Cell. I guess that if Seth escapes, maybe that doesn't really hurt Bray's chances, or maybe even Braun Strowman gets involved in this match here. I don't know. Like, I don't know. My money's on Bray Wyatt. But I wouldn't be shocked if Seth actually retains the title. But we'll see. I don't know. $1 million question, guys. What do you think about Hell in a Cell? Like, and more specifically, what do you think that only 4 matches have been announced since Clash of Champions? Like, what do you think is going on? Because I don't know. Like, I feel like something's going on. This feels like a rush job. Yeah, this definitely feels like a rush job. So, but we'll see. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna read a couple more of these Kofi, these hashtag thank you Kofis, and then I'm gonna read what Kofi says, and then we'll kind of end the show from there, guys. Hashtag thank you Kofi. I'm sorry that you were sacrificed for no reason. Your reign didn't deserve to end in such crap. You were one of the finest champions we've had in recent memories. Thank you very much. And that's from James Zumwalt. I'm going to go ahead and give him some love there. Um, okay, and it's not all rainbows and sunshines. Here we go. We got one that says, everyone whining and moaning about how fast Kofi lost his title. He kept it way too long than everyone should. Didn't even deserve it in the first place. All right, dude. Hashtag thank you, Kofi? More like thank you, Lesnar, for finally getting the championship off of him. This is from Y2 Jeff. I'm going to see this Y2 Jeff, dude. He's been around for a while. Uh, he ain't getting no love for that. So, okay, we got Mikey B. Look, you're the best champion that WWE had in the last 5 years. Truth. I dare someone to give me a compelling reason how Brock Lesnar's last two title reigns were more impactful than Kofi Kingston's. I dare you. Dude didn't even have half the matches that Kofi had for the belt. Just saying. Said the Kofi movement continues. Hopefully Kofi goes to Raw and wins the Universal title. Hashtag thank you, Kofi. Let's see. I can't remember the last time that I generally was happy at a Mania besides Kofi. He's an inspiration that words can't describe. Title or no title, he's a world champion in a lot of people's eyes and always will be. Thank you, Kofi, for making the last 10 months memorable. That's from Joel J. Moneywood. So I'm going to go ahead and read you what Kofi put, guys, because everyone deserves to hear this one here. Once again, I'm so overwhelmed by the outpouring of love that I've seen here over the last 24 months. As a WWE superstar, one always hopes to experience moments in this industry that had a real and positive impact on people's lives. Judging by all these messages, I say the mission has been accomplished. And again, without all of you and your support, none of this happens. So thank you all for letting me live out my childhood dreams to the fullest. I am forever indebted to you. I am not sure what comes next, but I will always be proud and honored to be your champion. Yo, I feel like I still say it, man. By WrestleMania, Kofi's going to retire. My man, Kofi Kingston, is going to retire. So, but that's it, guys. That's it. That's wrestling this week. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you guys enjoyed wrestling. And it's not about it, even though some say that this is a war. It's not a war. It's a marathon. And ultimately the fans are the ones who win in this predicament. So keep up the good work, WWE. Keep up the good work, AEW, MLW. I see you. I see y'all doing big things too. Just keep it up and enjoy wrestling, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And I also got to give a shout out to, I haven't done that in a while. I'm gonna go ahead and give a shout out. Shout out to the broadcast. Y'all go check them out. Shout out to New Empire Gaming. Shout out to Rev Raps. And shout out to Mike Palmarino. Y'all check him out, 2426 Palmarino. Palmorino. Y'all let him know y'all heard him from the Mark Sage here at IRWP. Man, it's Saturday night, man. It's not gelling for me. I'm gonna try Friday evenings. I don't know. I might just do that. But in any event, guys, thank you so much. Love one another, respect one another, but most of all, y'all keep it real.